Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back here with our fun, sweet coach who's so motivational, Billy Giannouloudis. Did I say
You
it
got
wrong?
it. You got it memorized at this point.
I've never messed it up yet till today. I'm like, Giannouloudis.
You
How
got
are
it.
you, darling? Good to see you. Welcome to have you here. And again, you're a motivational coach, mindset coach, and so much more. Please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers today.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? This is Billy G from Billy G Life Coaching. I am a results coach, life coach, and motivational speaker, and my goal is to help everyone live life on their own terms and create that life change that they're searching for. And I love every single second of it.
And you're based out of where?
Out of Boston, Massachusetts.
But work with people worldwide. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, exactly.
A list of accolades, certifications. You've studied under some of the best as well.
Yep, exactly. So I started out, I got my psych degree, which started the entire process, but then that led me to so many different areas. And I was trained by Tony Robbins to do what he does on stage, bring it to people. And then I didn't stop there. I wanted to keep learning about the mind, the body, and the soul connection. That's led me to other mentors and everything along the way, but bringing so much to people. I love every single second. It inspires me so much to keep it going.
Fantastic. And I know for today's topic, we're going to start off with about the needle. How am I moving the needle is the question. It's the concept, right? That we've all really need to question. Could you dive into this for us?
Of course. Yeah. That question came to me a couple of weeks ago, and I put this idea out there on my YouTube channel that people can find. But that idea of how are we personally moving the needle with whatever endeavor or dream or goal we're pursuing? And it started to craft this idea with, we all have these role models in our life. We all have people that inspire us, people that help us kind of pick ourselves up and keep moving forward. But at the end of the day, we can't, as much as we have a role model that sparks us, we can't be like them. We can only be us. So at some point, how are you moving the needle for yourself to build off of everything your role model did before you? So that's where this concept comes from. But it's something that I had to wrap my own mind around, my experiences where, like I mentioned, trained by Tony, everything like that. And when I started that entire process, my goal was to be like Tony, but be better than Tony. And to do that, I had to, I learned, I kept going, I kept trying, kept helping people, kept speaking, trying to learn all these tools. Incredible moments, incredible experiences. But I specifically remember one night I was at the foot of my bed and I was just exhausted. Just so drained from the effort being put in and trying to create all this. And, I said a quick prayer for myself where it's like, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong that's not opening that door? And it dropped in my head within a matter of a moment. And I think I said it last week when I was with you guys, but when you ask, you do receive. And that's the coolest thing, where I asked, like, what am I doing? And it dropped in my head instantaneously. You can only be better than Tony by being Billy. And from that moment on, it started,
I love it. Yeah.
Right? Because you think about it, we have these role models. They pave the way for us. They leave a roadmap behind. But eventually, along those lines, you have to go your own way. And to go your own way is when you start actually moving the needle off of everything that everyone built before you. So that's this concept right now.
Oh, good. Well, I love it about moving that needle because it got me back to thinking about 45s. Remember the old needle, the record players? You're probably too young for that.
I have.
But it's true because a lot of us, but we need that push to start moving. Not everyone can go 360 all the time, just automatically spinning. You need someone to help that needle and get it in the right groove. And you are the groovester. You're the glue to the groove. You're the groovester. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know what I'm getting at.
I get it, right? You need someone to kind of guide you that one step, and then you build off of it. And then from that point on, you have the strength. You can keep walking on your own with everything you've learned.
Yeah, but now role models, in a sense, not everybody has role models, right? I mean, let me ask you, was Tony Robbins your role model?
Starting out, no, he was not.
Okay, who was?
Starting out, he was not. And, I could date role models back to, my dad or my grandfather starting out. But then as you start to grow, as a kid, a teenager, you start to get inspired, whether it's an athlete or whether it's, a movie star, maybe it's someone in the gym, whatever it is for you that sparks you. That's a sheer cut sign of what you might be meant to do in your life. So for me, I can name incredible people. I can name movie star Rocky. Oh my goodness, that's
oh my God, Sylvester Stallone, yeah,
right. So all these great moments. But then when I really got pursuing my goals of being a coach and being a speaker, I went through a very tough time, but in that tough time is when Tony sparked my life, where leading up to that, I was not a fan, truthfully, to say on the record, I was not a
Yeah.
fan. And then I think I was shattered by where my life went, where he just caught me. And then life kind of took its course where it guided me to be trained under him. And from that point on, I was like, oh, I see what he's all about. But, you know, that's even a deeper thought we can go into, where I believe that there are parts in your life where, you know, you might not be attracted to something. You might not be into it. It doesn't really have that energy you're looking for, because at the moment where it comes into your life, you're not actually supposed to have it yet. And then you go through these experiences which bring you back to it, where it's like, all right, now is exactly the moment
Yeah.
you're meant to find it. But Tony became my role model from that point. And I followed the path that he laid behind. I studied every step that he took, because I wanted to learn so much and bring and help people, because that's the driving force. And I started doing these steps and everything and finding the success. And then I started seeing it at my own seminars. I was home with people. I'm like, I was trying too much to be him, and I wasn't being myself. Right. And that's when we start to really have to take a step back and realize, are you becoming the best version of yourself, the person you're always meant to be, or are you becoming a
We're
copy?
trying to be somebody else. Got it. And we all have our own unique talents and gifts. Clearly, what
Yeah.
you bring to the table with your own experiences and life experiences. And can I be honest with you? I was never a fan of Tony myself. And it wasn't until a few years ago when I got satellite radio in my car
Mhm.
and I started listening to him. I just thought, I'm like, who's this guy? He seems so. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
wow. And then I started listening to him and I said, oh, okay, now I get it. Everybody else in the world gets it. I thought I was the only one who didn't understand. But now I'm like, oh my God, he's amazing. He's
Yeah.
so uplifting, and nobody's perfect. Nobody, but I'm like, I admire him and what he's done and helped so many people.
Exactly. Right. That was the same thing for me. It would come on when I was back in the day lifting in the gym. I would listen to all these speakers or motivational aspects to kind of get me hyped. And then Tony would come on, like, it just didn't have that feel. But
It
then when
wasn't
life takes
resonating, but
you, exactly, right? Life takes you, as you just said, resonates to a point where it's like, now you're ready. And I think that's the incredible thing about him, is that he brings that energy. But the beauty is that's what we all do. We have an energy we walk with. We have an energy that we can connect to others with. And when you tap into it, that's you becoming the person you're always meant to be. And that's the purpose of the coaching I bring to people. It's like, let's help you become that version of yourself, that higher self, that greatest version of yourself that you're meant to be, and walk out every single day. The beauty of the work, for that matter.
Beautiful. I love it. By the way, it's Billy G lifecoaching.com. That's the website. They can reach out to you there. You mentioned this is your opportunity to take that first step. And there's so many people out there maybe listening saying, I resonate with this. I get it. I need the help. I need making excuses. How often do you find people making excuses?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It pops up more often when someone, but it doesn't come from a bad place. It comes from fear. You
Yeah.
know, we all have fear in our life in some regards, but when you take a step of faith, the fear steps out. You start to walk in your own personal power at that point, getting people to that place where they can take that step. It's one, that's where coaching comes into play, but two, oh my goodness, it's a whole new person that comes out. It's like the age old metaphor, the imagery of the butterfly and the cocoon. It's like,
Yeah.
but take that step where you come out the cocoon, like, oh my gosh, this is what life was supposed to be like when you take that step. But the excuses, not going to throw someone on the bus, but last night I had a client who was making a lot of excuses, but we got to the root of the foundation. We got the foundational aspect. His entire upbringing was stress. He lived by how he was brought up, which was anxious, nerves, everything. So now when we're trying to pursue his dream for himself and become that next great version and leave the anxiety behind for good, I would come up with these points that connected, and he goes, yeah, no, that makes sense. But, and then something. And then, oh, no, I agree with that. That makes sense. But this. And I was like, I understand where you're coming from with it, but we don't stop there. We take that step. And with people listening right now, like, oh, how can I get through these excuses? How can I finally throw them off? You don't have to take a massive step in the right direction. It's something small. With my client last night with pursuing his dream, I said, just start as like a research thing. Go on YouTube, search whatever it is under that topic and find the first video. Maybe it's 5 minutes long. That's 5 minutes of your day dedicated to something new for yourself. That's the small step. That's the step of faith, because you're opening up your awareness to something greater to come into your life. And that's the beauty of not letting the excuses cloud your, I guess, mindset, we'll say.
So normally when somebody reaches out to you, what are they, I mean, talk about so that people feel more at ease that are listening now that are thinking about this. What are some of the common things they come to you with and some of their fears and some of the things they want to improve?
Yep. Right now, I'm finding a lot of people are coming to me, one with a spiritual perspective where they understand, manifestation, law of attraction. They understand some concepts, but they're not really living life. They're not seeing the result from that. So when I step into this with people, like I've mentioned in other times with you guys, I love teaching about the mind, the universal tool, as I call it. We all have a mind. We all have this gift, this incredible tool that can create and do anything. But with how we were brought up in society, we were never really taught how powerful it actually is, an ability to create, ability to manifest, ability to really use law of attraction or these components. So a lot of people come in and they have these ideas of that where they want to grow that in a positive light. But then you have other people that come in where, Billy, like I've had wall after wall, I'm struggling, I'm so anxious to do this, or it might be depression, and they realize there's a pattern, there's a routine going on. Billy, do you have any strategies or ideas where you can help me break through this? And then we dive in. People go on my website, they can set up a free strategy call. And at that point on, I'm there with you. It's usually about a half-hour call, sometimes goes longer if need be, because I'm never going to cut someone off on a conversation. But on that call, we start to pave the way. We create the roadmap for you. We create strategies in that moment that work for that person specifically. So they, one, can either overcome in their life, or two, they realize how they can achieve using all the incredible strengths tools, as you mentioned earlier, where we all have so many different gifts. But on that one strategy call, we open up that door and then someone keeps going. So if someone calls me right now and sets up a call, they bring it. Like, Billy, this is what I'm either one struggling with or the other side of it. This is what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
And we help them every step of the way.
I love it. On the website you have under spirituality, it says we are all human beings. We are all spiritual beings. We are all energetic beings. When we begin to see the connection between our minds and our spirits, we open a greater understanding of how gifted and blessed we all are. We are all on this journey in this life. And when we step into spiritual knowledge, we find a sense of peace we are searching for. So you say when pursuing life change, allowing ourselves the space to grow spiritually will bring with it a whole new perspective on life and the experiences we have been through and find ourselves in. And you say a whole new perspective. I just watched last night with my sons, Aladdin from Disney, a whole new world. I can't sing, but that's the song. And it's like Princess Jasmine's out of the castle. Her eyes are open. She's like, I've never seen this. I've never been here. So many dazzling things to see. And it's like, wow, now she's about to live her life. And I got this energetic feeling from a Disney movie last night. And it could be something as simple as that.
Yeah.
It really opens your eyes and says, I want to live like that. I want to be excited every day for life, to smell the flowers, to enjoy my children, to laugh, to live. It's just, and sometimes you get in the grind of work and habits, and these habits make us horrible people. Even our jobs can make us horrible people. You forget. And sometimes people don't really know until they lose something, whether it's a loss of life, loss of a job, and then you put things in perspective. Like COVID has put me and people into perspective. But not everybody gets that shakeup. And I think it's important that we do. Most of us can come out of it, but you need that push. You need that guidance. You need someone, because we should all be living on that magic carpet, flying around with this perspective of like awe and wonder. I mean, see, it's got me, it makes me feel so good today. I'm like, I can see the whole new world.
Right. That's so true, though. It's powerful in itself. And like you said, that's something as simple as a Disney movie. It creates that spark. That's the beauty of it. We all have these anchor points in our life where we can always go back to, and it creates that spark. It could be something with your kids, like watching Aladdin. It could be, well, for me, anytime Rocky comes on, I'm there watching that, and I just get so energized. I got to go. It's a pivotal point for me. But we all make these connections, and I completely agree with you. Sometimes life will knock you down, but it's never for a terrible reason. It's for an incredible reason. And I think we mentioned on our last talk together, there's lessons in everything. Every single moment you go through holds a lesson in it. When something gets us and we aren't at that level to see it yet, we think, oh, life is bad. We play the victim, everything. But when you eventually elevate yourself, and that's what we help people with the coaching, when you elevate your mindset, you elevate yourself in all these different areas to even transcend for that matter, you really get to a place where,
Wow.
oh, that's why it happened to me. I had to learn that. I had to get here so I can have the life I wanted. That's the
Mhm.
beauty. It's a whole new world, as you
A
said,
whole
where,
new world. I know.
right?
My kids like, Mom, don't sing. I'm like, I know, but I just want to.
But
Also
no,
awesome. What else do you have in store for us, Billy? What else did you kind of want to dive into to enlighten everyone with?
yeah, no, I mean, I
We're
love
on a
being with
roll.
you guys. Yeah, I love it. You guys bring so much to people. So, to continue to bring my own aspect. Oh my goodness. So if someone's listening to this right now, maybe maybe they are a business owner and they're thinking, how can I grow my business? Or
Oh, yeah.
maybe they're pursuing fitness or personal goal or spiritual goal for something, as we said earlier, you take that one step. And whatever it is, maybe that's listening to another interviewer right now. Maybe that's listening to something else. Maybe that's you going on YouTube and finding yourself. But to really take that step moving forward in whatever way. If someone today can draw a line in the sand and really say, you know what, today is the last day that I live life in the routine or the pattern that I was. I'm going to make one change. I'm going to start doing it. And
Mhm.
I've had clients come to me where we talk about reading, and books are, oh my goodness. I sit there and my first few seminars were done for free at libraries and I'm
Wow.
sitting there and it was incredible for one, because, the people that showed up, but two, if you think about it, a library, a book in itself is probably one of the most wealthiest places in the world.
Wow.
And there's a self-learning piece of that. So someone listening, oh, Bill, how can I pursue X, Y, and Z for myself? You can set up the call with me, but two, what if you just picked up a book? And it was a lot in the age we live in today. You have Audible, you have YouTube, you have everything. So reading is kind of taking a back seat. But reading is also there's so many different ways to learn. You have visual learners, you have auditory learners, you have kinesthetic learners. And there's all these different points where, okay, if I'm a visual learner, as kids are today, people are learning off of sight and seeing something. You also learn off of reading because that's a visual learner. And if we let that fall backwards, you're missing out on all this information. And so people are like, well, Bill, I don't really read that much. Well, what if you read one page a day?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
your small step. That's you
Mhm.
improving yourself. And if people listening right now can improve themselves in one small way a day, my YouTube channel is called Once a Week because
Okay.
it's the goal of that. It's hilarious. But the goal of that when I started over 4 years ago, in year 5 right now, was for once a week, someone to hear that message and be like, you know what, once a week, I'm going to do something for myself. The funny part is that once a week was never meant for Billy to be in front of the camera once a week. It was meant for people to do
Wow.
something once a week. And then everyone after the first episode was like, "Hey, Bill, what's this next episode going to be?" I was like, "Huh, well, not stopping." And then it's been
Mhm.
consistent for over 4 years now. But you know, I guess I'll come back to that point. If someone can do one thing a day, one thing a week, don't set the bar where you need to set the bar, but do something to improve yourself. And as you said earlier, it's a whole new world. I'll keep coming back to that. It's a whole
Mhm.
new world when someone takes one new step for themselves.
Yeah. My priorities right now is like organizing the house and there's
Mhm.
piles of stuff. And it's just, I have to tell myself one thing at a time. It's hard. You have the kids, but you could put the stuff away another day. And like there's a room that's clogged with bins. And I'm just like, it's overwhelming and it's eating away at me mentally. So the other day I did a little bit.
Mhm.
And it made me do a little more the next day. And now I'm on a roll doing a little bit. It's still not what I want. It's not done. It's not even halfway done, but there's something about feeling good and feeling like I'm on a roll. I got this now.
Yep.
But to dive in fully, I don't have the time. And most people don't have that time. It's little baby steps. So I can totally relate to
Right.
that.
It's true though, but you get more done in the baby steps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because one, you keep yourself in a good place too. As you just said, it's overwhelming to do it all at once. I completely get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it drains us, but to take it one step at a time and then go on and be with the kids, because that is time in itself where you can enjoy it. You don't have to do work or anything. You enjoy your time. That's the
Yeah.
point of us being here, is to enjoy life. But if
And
you
be
find that
thankful
balance,
and be grateful. I mean, look what's
yeah.
happening right now with Russia,
Hmm.
Ukraine, the whole world. I mean, we could be involved next. It's just life is so precious. And you think about these people who are moved from their homes, have nothing. And
Right.
it's, and then you see the humanitarian effort of people taking, families in, and it's amazing, but not everybody is being treated amazing and getting through. And it's just like makes you just appreciate and makes you want to be your best self, because that could be us. We
Yeah.
could be bummed. It could be us. So that's
Mhm.
why I always just try to say after COVID, and if my mom passed, it was like, now is the time.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I lost my job and my mom died. And then I'm like, what am I going to do? You
Mm.
reinvent yourself, but it's a
Yeah.
scary thing. But I've been there, I've done it, and I had no choice what to do by myself. But I know life coaches could help, but I never thought I could. And I
Yeah.
was in a place of depression, of anxiety, of sadness, of fear. And there's going to be more ups and there's going to be downs. But we've all went through something in our life that made us who we are.
Yep.
And, you as a motivational speaker, as a coach,
Mhm.
me as just a broadcaster, communicator, I motivate. I would like to think so, because I'm a positive person,
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm not a coach, no expert, but it's like I've seen my fair share. I talk to a lot of people, and boy, oh boy, I mean, life is just so precious. And if anyone could take advantage and start living, and to have someone hold their hand like that, like you, Billy G, it'd be a great way to walk life.
Mm.
And you also do motivational speaking as well, right? Do you have
Yeah.
anything
Oh
lined
yeah.
up that you want to share? Do you
Yeah.
work for corporations? Do you do?
Yep. So we do companies, we do corporations. We even do events for the communities. And on June 23rd, if anyone's in the Massachusetts area, Mansfield, Massachusetts, we now have an event set up. We had one in January, which kind of sparked this entire fire, called For You 22. And we want to bring you all the tools that we can to help you turn this entire year into your favor. And that started this entire role where we did that. We had an incredible turnout. We had local businesses come out to help people and provide all these tools. And then I was able to speak out and provide the knowledge. And then now everyone's like, hey, when's the next one? And so we want to do 4 of those this year, but the next one's June 23rd. So anyone looking forward to that. And then we're looking to reach out to a couple companies and help the team morale. Because as you just went on, there's so much going on in the world today outside of work. And the tough part is when that outside stuff comes into work, because it's tough to leave it at the door. It is. And
Mhm.
and so that's a factor. We want to help everyone. We want to help these teams. We want to help these employees stay on the right track for themselves, because if it's yourself that is where it needs to be, your work ethic, everything starts to rise after that.
Got it. And that's true. Yeah. It's great if you can have that motivation and someone by your side. As a life coach, can I just ask you currently, without sharing anyone's names or anything, but what are some of the types of things that you're working on with clients, recently? Maybe people get a feel of specifically how you're helping change people's lives.
Yeah. Well, one thing, as much as we talk about mindset, the perspective shift. And I'm going to use your example you just gave, where, I truly appreciate you opening up and saying it, whether it was job or whether it was a
My
family
mom
member, as you
passing.
mentioned, your
Yep.
mom
Hmm.
passing, right? As much as you can say you had to go through that on your own. And as much as you can say, you aren't a coach, just the incredible experience of you going through that, as tough as it was, the fact that you just opened up and said it just inspired someone.
Yeah.
That's the light that you bring. And with coaching and people asking for that perspective shift, and we don't see clearly when we're going through. We have our blinders on, we have our head down, and we're just trying to get through the wall. We're just trying to get over the hurdle, and we're just trying to get to the next step. But if you can lift your perspective up, you're no
Oh,
longer looking down, as you did, you start to see that you shine so much more light into people's lives. You start to see that you have a pivotal point in this life, whether it's for your kids, whether it's for the stranger across the street. You hold such a pivotal moment in your life. And if people can look at that, that's what we do with coaching, where we help you see this perspective, where you bring a light to everyone that you come across. And the struggles that you go through, yes, they may hurt. So this is what we talked about in our first thing with the logo I have is a diamond. Your light shines a little bit brighter because each one of those struggles is just cleaning it. It's taking the towel and just smudging a little bit. It's like, hey, let's get this shine. Let the light shine a little bit more. Your example you gave, as tough as it was, shines more light into people's lives. And if people can wrap their mind around that, which we do in our coaching sessions, oh my goodness, the perspective on life changes. And you realize like every single moment becomes that much more incredible, because you play a pivotal point in your day, but you play a pivotal point in every single person's life that you come across.
wow. Beautifully said. I can't say anything after that. Take a bow. That was great.
Yeah. But no, that's the example that you brought to the table. So I would like, I think it's incredible that you were able to make it through those moments. And obviously you have reasons to make through it. As much as losing a loved one's a very tough moment, or losing a job is a tough moment, it's not that we can stop, we can't quit, but we can shift. You have that moment where you can be with your kids and really continue to see the light you shine to them. You have the moment where an opportunity opens up that's probably something greater for you, right? Yeah. It all works together in the grand scheme of things, where what wasn't meant for us, it goes. What is meant for us comes.
I left the broadcasting because I had no choice. And then I started working at a hotel. And then with COVID, they laid me off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing sales for the hotel. What's going to happen? And then all of a sudden, I discovered the podcast news network. I'm like, oh my God, like, hello, like, so I started doing this, and I mean, it's been great. And then I still do TV part-time, but like jobs here and there, and it worked out. So I think.
Right? That's the beauty of it. And I know we're coming to a close right now, but that's the beauty of everything that we go through is guiding us to where we're meant to be. You had to go through those moments because in the grand scheme of things, there's a spiritual component. In the grand scheme of things, your spirit had to learn something through those lessons for you to move forward into the next stage. That's why I always say to my clients, learn the lesson so you don't have to take the test again.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so true. Yeah.
You learn the lesson, you kept it going, and now life has brought so much more into you. You learn what you needed to, whether you know it now or not. Your spirit learned it, and you kept it going. Now life is in a much better place. And right now we're putting together a course where people can, in the process of making it right before we hopped on today.
Tell us.
Yeah, so this is a course. It's meant to help people learn, use their universal tool, as we talk about, the way we were always meant to really help them tap into the mind, to learn how to manifest, to learn how to really see how powerful we all are. So we're putting that together to help people on a much quicker scale so we can help everyone. But as your story explains, you put, as much as life kind of brought you down, what can I do? What can I do? Truthfully, it was guiding you every step of the way, but you manifested these incredible things because your mindset never shifted. It was focused on what's the next great thing. You brought it in. It's the beauty of how powerful we are. And now you're living it out. That's how powerful our minds are. And we're putting a course together to teach people exactly that so they can take it, run with it, and keep moving to wherever their life may take them.
Awesome. It's like that fishing pole. Put it out there. Get that big fish, reel it in.
Exactly.
But would that be an online course, or would that be a live course, or something that's taped? How would that work? Do you have it figured out yet? Do you want to share? Or
yeah, of course. So we're in the process of making it right now, but that's going to be an online course. It's probably going to launch maybe a month and a half from now. So it's really beginning stages. We have all these points set up to dive into the mind, but people will be able to log on. They sign right up. It takes you right into the course. There will be videos. There will be assignments to keep you on track moving forward throughout this course. And then it's going to help you learn so much where you can start to use it instantaneously. Because that's the thing. As much as we said earlier, taking these small steps, reading one page, taking one step for yourself, whatever it may be, this is going to help you take those steps, grow in the emotional intelligence aspect. So you're living at that higher joyful level, and then seeing all the goodness that starts to flow because you reached it. That's what life's all about.
Awesome. Billy G, tell us how we can reach out to you, please.
Yeah, of course. So you can find me, BillyGLifeCoaching.com. You can reach out to me that way. You can find me on Instagram at Billy Giannouloudis, and you can find me on YouTube once a week with Billy G. You can see all the videos we've done for the past 4.5 years going on right now. And you can find that spark every single moment you can. All those options.
Beautiful. Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure. Really, you lifted me today again.
Thank
you. And continue
That's
to do
my
the same
goal.
for
That's
everyone.
my goal.
You did great. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.